So today I want to look at Genesis 14, and particularly just the issue of Melchizedek, because there's so much in this passage that we could give entire sermons on, and probably several of them, and even on Melchizedek himself. But for devotional purposes, I want to point to the fact that Melchizedek here, who serves Abraham bread and wine, and after this kind of battle defense, that Lot comes to Abraham's rescue. But the important thing here is Melchizedek has two roles of priest and king. We don't really know kind of where he came from or hear about him afterwards, but he's this important figure that he was king of Salem, which would be Jerusalem, and he's priest and king. Usually in Israel, the civil sphere is kept separate from the religious sphere. So you have kings and rulers, but then you have priests that serve the Lord. So kind of these two spheres. Melchizedek was a high priest, but also a king. And this is important because Christ is going to be called from the order of Melchizedek, as even the Psalms point out. So his rule, if you will, his reign, if you will, is not after Aaron's priesthood, but a priest in the order of Melchizedek, which makes him both high priest and king. So he's the ruler of our life as king, but he also is our high priest who sacrifices for us. So he's really our all in all. We look to him for our rule of life. We look to him for our spiritual salvation and our spiritual nourishment. And so Melchizedek foreshadows, some even think that he was a pre-incarnate, a prefiguring of Christ himself. I don't think that's the case. I don't think this was like a theophany in the Old Testament. In this case, I think he was a real person who prefigured and preshadowed Christ. But this is why it says Christ is a high priest in this order of Melchizedek, because he fulfills both roles, and really all three roles the New Testament will tell us, of prophet, priest, and king. But most importantly here, Melchizedek was a priest and king, and Christ fulfills that for us. So let's obey him, not only in the church, not only for our spiritual needs, but as we look to raise our family, govern our lives, look to how we should interact with people. Let us realize Christ is the one who gives us answers to all those things.